Hey y'all, hi. Today we're going to take a look at some purported fall fashion trends and judge them. It's a little bit of a chaotic day already. I think I kind of overdid it with my eyebrows and I couldn't really scale it back. And the background is also kind of, to be frank, since we moved, I've never really turned it into anything, but that is on the schedule for the fall. And in the meantime, please forgive me. The chaos and the eyebrows are not going to detract from my ability to dig into these fashion trends. And in fact, let's get right into the meat of the video. So I went looking for like a listicle or an article from a reputable source to find out what's supposed to be trending. And the first thing I came across was this one from Vogue. And I was scrolling through it and it's just like rehashing everything, the most basic, boring, and also like zoomed out. So like the most vague trends that we've seen over the past several seasons and years. Boho, but for winter. I know I've talked about that so much. I'll link my other recent videos talking about trends. If you want to see how I feel about boho, which is just it's a little too on the nose, you can watch those videos. Modern prep. Once again, these are like huge sweeping categories. It's almost like, when is boho not trending in that, like, when is it not available as a style? When is there ever a time when you can't go out into the world and be like, I dress in a boho style and I'm going to look for clothing that will complement that? Never. There's always an element of that. I just feel like that's too zoomed out to even really claim. Kind of the same with prep. Preppiness, maximalism for minimalists is something that I'm personally kind of into. But again, I just feel like it's a little bit of a reach. It's like, yeah, a sculptural take on minimalism. Minimalism unhinged a little bit is what they're identifying as having seen on the runways. I'm uninspired by that assessment, right? I'm uninspired by that take. Lingerie dressing, which we've been seeing, it feels like for years at this point. And again, it's like, yeah, it's beautiful, but also, is it really fall? Maybe for evening wear or something. But this isn't the kind of thing that we are going to be wearing in the fall, like a lingerie-inspired slip dress. To what event? Again, maybe holiday party, maybe formal events, maybe blouses. Usually this type of thing is available every holiday season for holiday parties and for winter blouses. So I don't know. The first thing I'm roasting is this Vogue article, essentially. Uptown punk. I'm very dissatisfied by this take as well, because it's talking about leather and leopard and this one outfit with like giant metal balls all over it. And I do understand that they're talking about having sussed out a kind of edginess and a use of kind of thick, heavy materials, like metal hardware. But uptown and punk are contradictions in terms. And I feel, and so I think that it could have done better with like explaining what this trend is supposed to be. 24/7 sequins for day. Love it so much. Always loved it. Never stopped loving it. But again, we've been talking about it in every video of this nature for the past couple of years. Not a fresh take. Country coded, countryside. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be blaming the people at Vogue for the fact that the same thing is still trending as like the last time I looked into trends on the runway. But no, because after briefly roasting this Vogue article, I'm going to go on to talk about another listicle presenting trends in a way that did make me excited. I thought it would be interesting to also let you know that I had this experience of finding this article and being like, give me something new. Give me something with which I can work. Anyway, I can't work with this. We've talked about this equestrian heritage. Like, gross. Anything that's like, no. I mean, I'm into barn jackets, but to me, barn jacket is like, I don't know, it has sort of like a back to my youth sloppiness about it. Like we're standing around a bonfire. That's what barn jacket is to me. And I understand that it does have a relationship to this country coded trend. Everything about this makes me want to vom. Yeah, we're not decamping to the family estate right now. Curious color combinations. Okay. I mean, I have a passing interest in this. I did recently try to style butter yellow and enjoyed it the most pretty much with colors, like with interesting color combinations. That's fine. But again, aren't we always trying to make interesting color combinations? Aren't designers always asking themselves what would be an interesting color combination? Like, it's not saying, oh, we saw mint and red all over the runways. That would be trend spotting. Instead, it's saying offbeat color pairings, interesting color. Like, what's trending is for designers to do something interesting with color. That is wild. Anyway, that article, this one, is a no from me. Like, we're not not really learning anything from this. So I went on and I looked for something more, and I came across the same type of thing in harpersbazaar.com. And this is giving me a lot more to work with. And this is the article that I'm going to use to structure the video. So that first thing was just like a little eye roll. Here's what Harper's Bazaar has noticed on the runways. More specific, more original, also fresher. Like these are things that we haven't been seeing over and over again. A little bit of overlap with what I just reviewed, much more than that. First up, apparently the runways are covered in giant faux fur coats, faux fur outfits, faux fur everywhere. The article opens and says it was one trend that dominated more than any other on the catwalk for fall 2025. Faux fur. Impossible to ignore. Almost every major fashion house featured it in their collections. That's the kind of thing I want to know, right? Because I wasn't there and I didn't watch a lot of coverage of it, and I haven't been really like deep in that world. So this is the kind of thing that I appreciate. Faux fur has been heavily criticized for being mostly made out of plastic, which is fair. You know, I mean, I think that a lot of fashion manufacturing is unsustainable for a lot of different reasons. And there's a lot of clothing that is made out of plastic out there, not just faux fur. But I think that it's particularly noticeable because the garments are so bulky. So I guess take this trend with a grain of awareness of that. That aside, if we're just assessing it aesthetically from the viewpoint of like a desire for stylistic longevity, like something that you can wear and wear and wear even after it's out of style. Faux fur, it gives me everything I want, right? The drama, the texture, the neutral colors, the longevity, meaning like I think that a fur coat or a faux fur coat and something that's a dramatic statement piece of outerwear like this is never going out of style. Again, with that caveat, you know, with that knowledge of the dark side of it, which again exists throughout the fashion industry, just in the abstract, aesthetically, I love it. I don't know if that means I'll be getting a faux fur coat myself for lifestyle reasons, kind of for me, because I don't live in a big city. I think if I did, I might be more likely to want to have something like this, maybe getting it secondhand. Here where I live, I think the level of drama would be very high for my everyday life for a coat like this. And if I didn't have any coat and I was looking for the coat, like a winter coat, the only one, then maybe I would lean into that, because I do lean into that in some ways. I usually just wear what I want, and often I'm overdressed or like serving looks when I don't need to be because I enjoy it. But I have other coats. And so I could just see myself if I owned a coat like this, usually picking a less splashy coat instead of it. And for that reason, it wouldn't be a good buy for me personally. Next up, lovely, lovely lace. So this is so much better, again, of an assessment than the other listicle that we looked at, which was like lingerie inspired clothes. This is much more specific than that. And it's saying that lace specifically has been on the runways very recently. Lace also goes around and comes around and is never really out of style. You know what I mean? Lace always has something, and it always kind of gives the same thing. Delicacy, femininity. Apparently brands have been mixing it up with unexpected color combinations of lace this year. It's fine. Depending on the lace, some lace that's sort of chunkier and more graphic and very palpably quality, like cotton lace, you know, I'm really drawn to. I'm not beyond the point in my life when I would buy or wear something made out of lace, but it has to be really specific. It has to be weighty in a way and kind of have that tactile quality that I was talking about really liking. A lot of lace, it's like too flimsy, too fussy, too frilly for me. It doesn't strike me as something that I'm necessarily going to capitalize on as someone who's always kind of like paying attention to what's trending because it's going to trickle down to the secondhand market. I'm excited when I see something on these lists that's something that I know is my style for life and the kind of thing that I will wear over and over and over again, because it means it's about to be more readily available. And I don't necessarily feel that way about lace. I can kind of take it or leave it. But I do think that it is timeless for people who love it and wear a lot of it. A timeless trend is the one that I appreciate. All right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Brown is still the new black, and I'm happy to hear it, and I love to see it. I am so all in. I'm seeing a lot of very dark brown in this imagery. I love the nod to the 70s and the return of brown. I love the nod to the 90s and the return of brown. I love seeing brown in makeup to reflect the fact that it's coming back so strong in fashion and not going anywhere. I, on a personal level, was kind of starting to tire of black a little bit. I had grown to really appreciate the way in which black can be the backbone of a wardrobe and so dependable recently. Like it was just happening over the past couple of years that it was really coming around. And I had just gotten to the point where I was like, oh, I know the thing to do would be to get this garment in black. Like, gonna buy a skirt or something. Like, I know that the smart thing to do, the minimalist thing to do, the slow fashion thing to do would be to buy it in black because that's like me building a wardrobe for longevity, something that I'm never gonna get tired of, something that's classic. But I have so much already that's black. Do I really need another black thing? Like that, I was just starting to think that a lot. And then brown came on the scene and it does everything and is everything that black is with some delicious depth and nuance. So I'm really here for it. I love brown. I love what brown has been doing for us lately. Espresso martini winter last year. Is that what it was? We're going for espresso martini half decade. Okay, this surprised me. This is something I didn't know. The pencil skirt is on. It's something that I wasn't aware that we were getting back into pencil skirts. And I think I wouldn't have guessed it. If you had given me a list of like 10 trends that I didn't have any context for, and you were like, which 5 of these are actually things that have been on the runway a lot, and which 5 did we just make up? And pencil skirts, if that was on there, I probably would have thought it was one of the ones that you just made up. So why? I'm going to read actually the listicle for a second and see what they think. Well, they're not really giving me any theory. I guess that's what I'm here for. I'm supposed to provide the theory. But it's saying that pencil skirts, we're seeing them both as suiting, like something you'd wear to the office, sort of a bold, minimalist, almost blocky pencil skirt with a suit jacket that matches it, so as part of a suit. And also in evening wear, where we're seeing a slinkier, more fitted pencil skirt just over the knees, which I actually really love. That's a silhouette of skirt that I used to wear a lot when I danced a lot, that I used to design a lot when I designed clothes for tango dancers. I really love that silhouette for evening wear. I think it's classic. I have personal history with it. Oh, I think it's really beautiful. I love the imagery here that's showing the way in which pencil skirts are making it into evening wear or sort of shining in evening wear. The pencil skirts for suit jacket, it looks really 80s to me. It's fine. How could it possibly be better than pants? That's kind of how I feel. Like if you're going to wear a suit, I don't know. If I lived a life where it made sense to wear a suit like this a lot, I would be loath to give up the high-waisted trousers, the wide-leg trousers, the oversized trousers, the really like menswear inspired full suit. This just does not come close to that for me right now. Yes to the evening wear, not for me to the suit, the pencil skirt suit. Okay, this is interesting. Dare to bare, meaning naked dressing. So dressing in a way where a lot of skin is showing. Again, we have nuance that the other listicle wasn't providing. What we've been seeing is like sheer. I've been seeing for maybe 2 years. It's been popping up and phasing out of forecasts of trends. Sheer and semi-sheer garments, I really love. I always love it. And that has also had some crossover with like the lingerie inspired and all of that, which this also kind of does. But this is basically saying what we've been flirting with, which is sheer garments, lingerie inspired garments, sheer fabrics, has evolved to a more extreme point than it had gotten to at any time over the past 2 years. It has gone all the way to what we're calling naked dressing. So wearing something so sheer or so revealing that you kind of might as well be naked, or you can really see parts of the body that are usually covered up. I feel like this is a thing that we see on catwalks from time to time, in high fashion from time to time. It's a very envelope pushing move for a garment or for a person wearing clothes or for a designer putting stuff on the runway, because it's crossing over past the edge of what most people feel comfortable in, what is acceptable, like what propriety will accept socially in most settings. So in most settings out in the world, it is quite radical, if not illegal, or like not actually possible to get away with wearing something that's this revealing. And then there are some settings, some clubs, you might say, some parties, some social situations in which it is okay. So it's sort of like a nod to places and settings that are more liberated and more accepting, like more open-minded. So I kind of like that. I like this. I like anything that kind of pokes at a societal discomfort that reveals conservatism. You know what I mean? Like a societal discomfort that reveals a way in which we are held back as people. I think that's why when I see this, I'm like, also it's hot. Right? It's hot. And I guess there's a time and place for that, or most people feel there's a time and place for that. Some of these garments are a little bit weird in construction and a little bit off-putting, but for the most part, when this is being deployed, it's quite beautiful and, again, subversive in a way. And I tend to go for that. It's artistic, the pencil skirt It's like a silhouette that has been worn throughout the years. It has like history, references to past centuries, references to past designers. Bringing it back and sort of reframing it is interesting. That's fine. This sort of naked dressing, sheer layers, it has some of that, but mostly it's very now and very future, and it's very artistic. I love it. Okay. Soft, slouchy bags. It's like they're doing it for me. One of the things I've learned about myself over the past couple of years, and I've learned this by gathering images, paying really close attention to what I'm drawn to, paying really close attention to what feels right when I wear certain things and not other things, and, you know, making a bunch of videos for YouTube about style. And so having to really put words to what I observe with my own fashion choices, my own outfits. One of the things I've learned is that when it comes to handbags, I prefer a bit of softness. Soft structure is fine. I find it's easier for me to get along with something that has at least a little bit of slouch in its design. So this is perfect for me. Not that I need a bag, not that I'm shopping for a handbag right now. I just appreciate that my understanding of what works in a handbag seems to be very aligned with that of the fashion industry. It sort of calls into question how much of my own personal instinct experience with garments and accessories is just completely inherent to me, like in a vacuum. So I'm over here saying, oh, I was just starting to get sick of, coincidentally, brown came on the scene right when I was just starting to get sick of black. Coincidentally, soft, slouchy handbags are all over the runways right at the moment when I was starting to realize that I prefer a soft, slouchy handbag. But is it coincidence? Is it? Or am I being sort of like subtly informed by the trends that are happening? Or are we all realizing it at the same time? Are we all like connected on a subterranean level, like sipping from the same aesthetic well, and we don't even know it? And so it's like the same things occurring to everyone at the same time. I don't know. That's what's interesting about trends. In any case, all of these bags are beautiful. So leopard print, in the bad Vogue listicle, they were like uptown punk. Here, they're just saying, well, we saw leopard print all over the runway. And they even say in this article, it's one of those trends that cycles back around every few seasons and never truly goes out of style. But this season, it went from just outerwear, which is what it's been dominating the past few years, to dresses, accessories, knitwear, skirt suits, like everything leopard everything. I love it because leopard is a neutral. It really reads as a neutral, but it's print. I feel like it's the perfect print for a minimalist. And so I love to see it. But my main reason for appreciating this trend is what they say, that it never goes out of style and you can just truly never go wrong with it. The day is not going to come where it's like, that leopard print coat that you have is so XYZ year, you know? It always comes back around. And even trends that I don't personally love, although I did buy like a leopard print merino wool shirt and leggings last year. So I'm glad to know that I'll still be on trend if I wear them again this winter. But even if I'm not into a trend, if I feel confident that it is something timeless and something that's not going to look outdated soon or really ever, then that's a trend that I'll get behind in theory, again, whether I wear it or not. Capey drapey outerwear. I kind of feel, well, can a coat ever go out of style? A gorgeous piece of outerwear. Tell me this. A gorgeous piece of outerwear. Yes, if you happen to know what the coat of the winter is, like maybe it's this winter, maybe it's going to be these capey drapey things. If you happen to know what the coat of the winter is and you get it, then that winter you're going to be wearing the coat of the winter. You will be in like the it coat. But the following winter, when a different coat is the coat of the winter, maybe next year it's going to be like extremely structured knee-length coats or something. And then these capey drapey coats will no longer be the coat of the moment. But when that happens, is your capey drapey coat going to have lost any visual power, any cachet? No, because a coat like this, good outerwear is timeless, always. As long as it's not completely outlandish, right? As long as it's not just like this year, I don't know, like fluorescent pink coats with eyelet lace ruffles in the edges are all very specifically trending. But that doesn't really happen with outerwear, because outerwear, it's something that you have to wear every day, wear with all of your outfits. It's like got this built-in practical aspect to it. That means that it has to be versatile. I'm happy with every coat trend. This, I see it and I'm like, I have several things. So my rant is over now about whether or not this is going to go out of style or stay in style. Or I guess it was a rant about whether you can ever say that a certain kind of coat is trending, or maybe just a rant about how you shouldn't worry about your coat. Anyway, I love drape in general in clothes. I love artistic drape. This is kind of the outerwear version of of what I liked about the naked dressing trend. It's artistic, it's unstructured. However, when I look at these, they look a little bit unwieldy and heavy. I had a coat like this when I was younger for a long time. It was like my main winter coat for a really long time. And so I think there's a little bit of a personal thing going on with this where it feels like past Hannah vibes. So I probably won't be buying a coat like this. For me, the dream winter coat is still like softly structured, clean cut, really long, thick, heavy coat. I still want that sort of simplicity, that oversized, draped, clean simplicity rather than all of these sort of like waterfall edges. That's where I am with this. I'm out of sync, I guess, with designers when it comes to outerwear. But I don't think that this is a bad coat trend because I don't think such a thing exists. Unexpected belting. It makes me think someone's gonna like sneak up behind me and put a belt on me really quickly and I'll be like, I've been unexpectedly belted. I guess what they mean by this is just belts of all sorts of shapes and sizes. I'm not that into it. I did become a belt girl recently. I got a belt. I've gotten several belts, but they're not unexpected. They're just regular. I mean, they're pretty, but you know, you just put them through the belt loops. I haven't been using them unexpectedly. Wearing multiple belts, I'm just not that into it. It's like, for what? It's ostentatious. It's unnecessary. It's not that it's not beautiful in its own way and sort of textural and layered in its own way, but there's nothing about this belt moment that makes me want to do that. I'm fine with just wearing belts and the belt loops of my pants to add some dimension to my outfits and in some cases hold up the pants. And finally on this list, love this, the school shoe. And love they're calling it the school shoe. And I love these awkward, long, floppy, loafer, leather shoes. Like, I love this weird shoe that they're discussing. And I also love the place that this article is saying this shoe has occupied in fall winter fashion. It says, in some ways it was a season of boom boom fashion. But when it came to footwear, amidst some very over-the-top styles, there was much in the way of practicality too. In fact, one of the most prominent accessories you spotted on the catwalks was the school shoe. So brogues, loafers, chunky flats, patent slip-ons. I'm just so glad to hear this because I love a shoe like this. In fact, let me show you. I just received these loafers as a gift from this brand, LOQ. They are a little bit milkier in person. I feel like the shine on them is making them look almost like a darker brown than they are. To me, they're a bit of a milkier chocolate brown in person and a little bit less shiny, but I like that. I like how they look in person better than the way they're looking in my monitor right now. But maybe once the footage is rendered, you'll see exactly how they look. Aren't these beautiful? I'm so excited to wear these. But it's funny, when you wear a shoe like this, it depends on what you put it with, but it can sometimes feel a little bit like, it's like that enchantingly drab footwear, you know, especially if you're wearing something else boom boom or something else that's eye-catching. But I like that. It's sort of like scratching an itch in me, this sort of the practical shoe with high fashion, or the practical shoe as high fashion, kind of the tension between that and what else you're wearing. These do look very beautiful and elevated when I wear them with something like trousers, which is usually what I do, right? Like trousers, oversized trousers, something that matches the overall aesthetic of them. But if you put them with something like a skirt, like a lace skirt or something, then they take on this edge that I think is what they're kind of talking about in this listicle, where there's like a slight tension between the splashiness of what you're wearing and the choice of practical footwear. So it's again something that I had already kind of identified in my life as an enticing element of fall fashion to look forward to, because I haven't really been able to wear these yet. It's been so hot, and I couldn't be more delighted to have seen it show up on this list and confirm my suspicions and my expectations. A loafer is just a great shoe. So that is it. Fall fashion. There's a lot to like. I feel like there's a lot that's comfortable, a lot of texture. I don't know. I sense sort of like a balance between femininity and masculinity going on. I'm really interested in balancing hardness with softness in fashion, and I feel like I'm not alone in that interest based on what I'm seeing in these images and what I'm reading about. It's like we're in this moment of draping ourselves in fabric, dousing ourselves in fabric, padding around the place in our comfortable broken in loafers. Things are a bit slouchy. Comfort matters, but there's room for the statement of something like colorful lace or the sexiness of something like a totally sheer shirt with nothing underneath. It's a kind of balance that makes sense to me. It's feeling approachable fall in a way that trends don't always and high fashion doesn't always. So let me know what you think. What do you already have in your wardrobe that aligns with this? I think that's always the most exciting question. Going through this and being like, oh yeah, I have a pencil skirt. I still have a pencil skirt that I haven't worn in a long time. Or I've got a lot of brown clothes. Or I have some broken in loafers. Or I do love lace and this is definitely my time. That's the other thing. I feel like there are a lot of things on this list specifically that people probably already have. I didn't really come across a trend here that was like, oh, in order to experiment with this trend, everyone's going to have to go out and buy something. I hope you're excited to get dressed. I am now. I'm excited to get dressed. I'm ready to bring out the knitwear. It's not quite time yet. I'm starting to get excited about dressing for fall. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.